Okay, guys, so very good evening to all of you and welcome to this workshop. So let us start our workshop. So who can join this? So of course, like if you are a student or a fresher, you can also join to know how the industry exposure is there, how the things are actually work in a real world environment. ID professional can also join. Maybe you are from a development side or maybe from another side. So you can also join and know how exactly DevOps tools are integrated with each other and make such a good architectures and the projects. Okay. If you're an RID person, you can also attend this to know how exactly the DevOps is and how it's impacting to the modern businesses, how it's becoming the leading job profile. Okay. So what we are going to see, so same thing, okay, like the automated code delivery. So whatever we have in our server, like in our Git, okay, you can see in the Git. So you like the developer is putting the code on the Git, and in an actual environment, we have a lot of servers called a development server, a staging server, or a production server. So first, the developer will check it in their local, then it will put it on a development and cross verify it, test it, okay, and the tester will check it all the things. Then they will put it on a staging, okay, a staging server. After checked successfully in staging, then only it will go to the production. Okay, so many things are there to pull the data, and we have to make a CI/CD. Okay, it is not possible to do with the like downloading a tar file and putting on it. It's a older things. Okay, in the new era, in the new world, the developer needs the CI/CD because every time they will push a code, they will edit any code. So they want it to be updated into the development and staging and the production. Okay. So every time you don't go and take the new tar file and put it on the server. Okay. This is not a good practice. It has many issues with that, like the permission issue and many issues are there. It will take a lot of time every time to go with that type of way. Okay. So there is a solution called CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development. So we can set up it with the tool called Jenkins. So firstly, we already created an instance. We will set up the Jenkins, okay, on it, and later on we will see the Docker, okay, like whatever we have in our application, we have it in the Docker. Okay, so we will also see the Docker installation and setup, and we will create and set up the GitHub repo. Okay, the repo we will create, and we will show you if we commit from there from the development end in the GitHub. So how it will be impacting and how it's going to work in a whole pipeline, okay, of a CI/CD. So this will be the architecture. So I would like to invite my friend Tushar. So he will tell you about all this architecture, and he will demonstrate you in a practical way. Okay, how exactly these things are in the server. So Tushar,
Okay. So am I audible correctly?
yeah,
You
you
can
already.
raise your hand. Okay. I'm just sharing my screen. Can you see my visual? Input? Yes. Let me show. So this is the your AWS account, in which first of all we will create one instance, okay, which is used for the entire whatever we do. So first of all, we will provision one instance. So I will just provide you overall idea what we will do now. So here, first of all, we will create the instance. Okay. EC2 instance we will create. This is for we will do the Jenkins setup, okay, for the CI/CD. After that, on the same server, we will install Docker for what? for the containerization. Okay, we will do containerization. Our app will be inside the container. Okay, we will use the Nginx. Nginx as the website. Okay, it will export our website on port number 80 on this particular IP with HTTP protocol. Okay, non-secure, but for now we will use the HTTP. And the Jenkins will be on the HTTP:IP and port number 80. This will be the overall scenario. Okay. So in between, how will our entire process will happen? So for that, I will show you. So first of all, consider this is our Jenkins. This is the Jenkins we installed. This is our repo from GitHub. Okay, this is the GitHub repo. Consider here your developer is sit on his own laptop. Developer is here, and if he puts some code into the repository, this is the repo. So we will make public. There are types of repo. We will make it public. So whenever new commit is there into the repo, this Jenkins will take that. Okay. Will take that code. So we have some more. Here we have our Docker. Okay. First of all, what we will do, we will create one base image. Okay. Base image. So in this base image, we will use some simple function. Okay. Suppose this is your Docker file. So we will utilize the from function, okay, from the Docker file, and we will use the Nginx image, Nginx Alpine, okay, as a base image. And in that, we will use one more function, which is called onBuild. I will explain what this onBuild function will do. Suppose consider the scenario. Copy this. Just copy this. What happens generally? Developer is suppose you are creating the image, okay, which is used for creating the content. Okay. But what happens generally? You are dependent on the developer. There are two things. One is DevOps engineer. Okay. Second thing is developer. Developer will provide the code. Okay. And entire image will be built by DevOps engineer. Okay. So what we will do? We will use the onBuild function. What is the facility of this onBuild function? OnBuild function let you allow to copy some another file. Suppose we use onBuild copy. Suppose this is the code index.html. This is the code, and you want to put it into the var:\w_html. Okay. What is this? This is the document. Okay. For the Apache, this will be the document. So this will change, but no issue. You can change it. You can mention the custom one. So what you can do, whenever the developer have this file, you can make such file like whenever developer have this file, he can use whatever image we build. Okay, suppose I built X image from this Docker file. So developer just need to mention that X image in his Docker file. Okay. After that, we need to put the same index.html file, whatever is the modified index.html file into his directory, same directory where he will build the image. Now he will build the image. After that building image, what he will do? He will push to the Docker hub. Once he pushes to the Docker hub, what happens? Then this image is used to create the container, new container. So container will be created okay, using this. So if developer want to just work on this index.html, So he will work on this file only. Okay. He will not do remaining process. Means whatever the remaining process, like suppose he push the code. What happened? This is your Git repo. What developer simply do? Developer simply push this index.html file. Okay, index.html file, okay, into this repo. Okay, this is the repo, GitHub repo. So he will not do remaining things. So what we will do? We will utilize this index.html file. Okay. What is our entire automation process? We will utilize this index.html file. What if there is a new version of this index.html file? What happens? Then automatic image build will happen from our base image. Auto image build from base image. Okay, this will do by our end. Okay, this we will do. After that, automatically it will get pushed to Docker Hub. Then after pushing to the Docker Hub, we will utilize the same image. Okay, we will push image from our Docker Hub account to our server. Okay, we will pull image, and after pulling image, what we will do? We will make the content. So you can understand now the scenario here. All these things we will do. Okay, only one thing developer will do. Okay, so how to do entire thing? Okay, these are our part. Consider that all these things is our part. All these things. Okay. All these things is our part, not the index chain. All these things. This will be done by the developer. Okay. So how to automate this entire process? So for that we will use the Jenkins and Jenkins pipeline. I will explain you how all these things will happen. I will generate the snippet for the same. So let's proceed. We will first of all create the one instance. So we will write down step here side by side so that we can understand. So creation of the EC2 instance. Creating EC2 instance. Okay, let's proceed ahead for creation of the EC2 instance. For that, we need to choose the EC2 service. Okay. EC2 service, you can search here. EC2 service now you get here. So after selecting that, you have option for that load. In the instance section, you can see launch instance. Okay. So this is used for launching the instance. If you want to create the instance, so you can come up here, you can provision your own. So I will just give the name app server. Now, here is the OS we need to use. Okay. So we will use the Ubuntu as the OS of our server. So Ubuntu OS is selected. So after that, we need to define what hardware we want. Okay. So for that, we will choose the whatever. So let's find what is the best of all these things. I will select this one. It have 2 vCPU and 8 GB memory. Okay, what we selected 2 vCPU, 8 GB memory. Okay, we will write down some steps so that it will help us. Now, this t2.large is selected. After that, we will create a key pair. So what is the purpose of creation of this key pair? This key pair is generally used for connecting to our server via SSH. Any SSH agent like Putty, Hermes. Okay. So we will connect to the instance using this. So I will just give any random name. Okay. /server I am giving the name. Okay. After that, we will create the key pair. Okay. As you created this key, it will get downloaded into your local machine. Okay. Now this is get selected. After that, in the networking section, we will not do anything as of now. If we face any issue, we will definitely troubleshoot what is the issue. And we will take the storage like 30 GB. So it is not coming. Server AWS is just loading. See, let's wait for some time. It is not giving any reflection, and it's refreshing the page. So let me make sure my internet is working. I'm connected here. The Firefox is not responding. So we will wait. Anyway, I have to force it. I will log in. Okay, I'm on the same page. Let me give the name app. Let me select the OS Ubuntu 24.04 long-term support. It's not responding quickly. Let's take 4.
I think T2 large will work. Okay.
Let's just quickly also work. No issue. It was issue with the AWS. It was just after that we saw that Firefox is also creating some issue.
If needs, we can also
Okay,
make this off.
what is wrong?
If needs, we can also make this swap, like it's taking.
No, now it's working, so we will close it. Yes, so the network setting, I will keep all the things as it is. And just select 30 GB as storage and launching the instance. Now the app instance is running. The status check is initializing. So we will wait for some time. Till the time we will log in into the server. Let me refresh this. Okay, I'm adding the new host. Let me put the IP. So username is so that we will connect. It's adding the key. switching to the boot user, that we will work with the highest package. Let me check again. Instance is initializing. Let's check and update the packages. Yes, it's working. The 2x2 check is fast. It's properly functioning. So we will first of all install our Jenkins, which is required for the automation purpose. We will just use the official documentation what we have in the Linux section. We will use the Ubuntu as OS. So these are the GPG key. This is the repo. We will update the package and install the Jenkins. We copy all the things. It will automatically install all this. I just write on Y here. See the status of Jenkins. We can see here the status is filled. So we will know about the what is the reason. The Jenkins service. There you can see that failed to find valid Java installation. So for the Jenkins, we need the Java. Okay. So that's why we need to install the Java. So let's go ahead and install the Java. We will install the Java. So we will write down the things what we are doing actually. So we created the EC2 instance, then Jenkins installation we are doing. Installation. So what are the two things and what is the takeaway? First thing is you install the packages for the Jenkins. The Jenkins you installed, but the takeaway is you want to install the Java. Okay. So this is the dependency for the Jenkins. Otherwise, it will not get up and running. So let me check status. I will restart. Okay. If it will not restart, we will reboot the system. It is failing. So we will reboot server. So it will automatically get up. We will wait for some time. Okay, so after the Jenkins installation, we need to do the Jenkins setup. Jenkins setup. After that, what we will do, we will create the repo on our Docker hub. Docker hub, which will be the public repo. And also we will create the repo onto GitHub. Okay, so that developer can push the code. It will be also the public one. So let me check for the server. Okay, now it's up and running. So we will check for the status. CTL status Jenkins. And now it's active and it's enabled. So it is running. Let me just give me 1 minute. Okay. So here you can see now the Jenkins is up and running. So its status is active. We need to now do the Jenkins installation. For that, we will take the IP into our app server. This is our app server. Yes. So this is the IP, public IP. It is running on the HTTP protocol. Now it is taking time. Why it is taking time? So let me explain it. So if you want to access some port like 8080 on the server, yeah, so there are some stages in between, means some blocking in between. Suppose this is my laptop. So I will just open up the terminal. If you do the telnet and the IP, I think IP I already selected, and 8080. So you can see here it is showing try. So what is happening? Something issue is happening. Okay. So this is the EC2 instance. So let me check on the instance. So this is our instance. We will check netstat -NTPL. It will show us that port number 8080 is listening. So if this is listening, so where is this? So let me just draw here. Suppose 8080 is here and it's listening. Okay. Listen, this part is clear. So something is in between. So what is this? So this is security group. Security group. So you have to add this 8080 port inbound rule. Inbound rule means wide area network to local area network. So inbound rule you need to add into the security. So we will check again. Okay. Once we add, we will check the same from here now local level. We will just go inside the instance, into the instance. Inside the security section, we have something called security. In the security group, here you can see currently 22 port is there and it's allowed. Okay, so for the same, you can see here 22 port and it's listening and added into the inbound. So what we can make the experiment. Here you can see. Suppose if I put 22, so it is connected. What you can see connected to this IP means all the path is clear. Suppose if you consider here, this is your laptop, you telnet to port number 22, 22 is added into your security group. After that security group, there is no firewall on your server. So that's why we did not check this. And port is listening, 22 port is listening on the server. Okay. Suppose if you want to open particular port, so you need to have some service behind it. Then and then only your port will be listening. Now we will add up the rule. Edit inbound rule. Inside the inbound rule, we will add. So we will add two rules here. Okay. First is the HTTP. Why? Because our HTTP server is also there, which is this Nginx. Okay, same Nginx will work here inside the content. And second one, which is port number 8080. So why this is required? For the Jenkins. So we are setting the rule. And now we can check from our local machine if we do the telnet. Let me repeat. Okay. So telnet onto port number 8080. Now you can see connected to this particular IP. What this meaning is? What is the meaning of this? Your entire path is now clear. Is on this stage, you do the telnet, your security group allows it, it passes, and then it comes on your server. So you are now able to connect to your port. So now if you refresh your browser, you can get the UI. Okay, this is the Jenkins view. Now I'm selecting what this thing is. If you want to set up the Jenkins, you will be provided with some initial password. This is the initial password in this particular path. So I'm just doing that, okay, so that I can view this. After that, I will enter this and continue. So now I will install some suggested plugin. After the installation of plugin, I will create the admin. Okay, so here in this case, what we have, we can have some more discussion. Suppose this is your server. On this server, your Jenkins is installed, and on the same server, you have your web server. Okay, this is your web, this is your Jenkins on the same server. So in this case, it will use the same node as the agent. Okay, agent will be the same. So I will show you the same, which is called built-in node. Built-in node. So which is used as an agent. Okay, but this is not a good practice. Okay, working is executing job onto the built-in node is not a good practice. But in this case, we have the same server. We will do that, and we do not have too much code. Okay. What we will do, we will create now the user. Okay. Just giving the name. Just putting the password. Any random password you can choose. And just providing the details, creating the user, and this is the URL through which you can access to your Jenkins. So I will save and finish. Okay. I'm now going to start the Jenkins. So Jenkins is up and running, so you can see here. So I will show you what I told you recently. Built-in node. Okay, because we have the same server, on the same server we have our job which will run. Okay, so the agent will be the same node. In the node section, inside the manage Jenkins node section, you can see here the built-in. This same node will be used as an agent. What we will do now, so just come up on the server. On the server, we will have some things like, suppose we want to execute some commands with the user Jenkins, like we will create one Nginx container. So for that, we need to run the command of what we can say Docker. Okay, so Docker installation is, I think, not to be done. Okay, so we will do the Docker installation also with the root user also. Yes, so Docker installation is not done as of now, so we will do the installation of Docker also. So Docker installation is now ongoing. Okay, so let me give 1 minute. Okay, so now Docker is installed. Let's check. Docker is installed now. So what I was going to show you, if I switch with the Jenkins user, and if I run the Docker PS, so we can't connect to the Docker demo. Why this? Because these users do not have the permission to operate the Docker. So what we will do? We will simply add this Jenkins user into the Docker user mode. AG is put into the previous group, all this group. So whatever group it have, keep the user into previous group and add into the Docker. After that, we will give the name Jenkins. After that, what we will do, we will enable the high privilege for the Jenkins. Here, I will just search slash n. Okay. So what we do now, we'll just yaml and paste. Here we will mention the Jenkins. Jenkins. Okay. I will do no pass. Okay, so it will not ask the password. Okay, so you do not want the incorrect sessions. Okay, so two things here we did. I will just write down this also. Added Jenkins to Docker. Second thing, make sudo. Jenkins. So we can execute the command using the sudo. Now let's again switch to the Jenkins CLI. The Docker. Now we can able to execute the command of Docker. Now let's jump to the Docker. So what we will do here we will create one repo and we will put the image into the repo. So create repository and we will give the name Nginx. Public repo, create the repo. Okay, so repo is now created. We will log in into the account. For the doing login, there are two methods. I will explain that also. We'll take one more page. The two method of logging into the Docker. Docker Hub login. For login, we will use the simply username and pass. Okay, the second method is token based. Okay, token verification. So for that, what we need to do, just come to the instance Docker login -u user Tushar address CoreXtech.in. Right, so I will put my password this time. You can see here login success. Okay. Now I will log out and show you second method. Docker login. Okay, I log out from here. Now we just put Docker login. See here you get something called this name. What it is telling, control and click on it. Control, click on it. It opens new UI. Here you can see one-time password. Here it is. I'm just putting this one-time code. I'm doing confirm. Congratulations, you are all set. So let's check inside the server. You can see here login succeeded. Means now you can able to push the image. Whatever image you build, you can able to push it. But for that, we need something called Docker file, base Docker file, all these things. So what we will do, we have these files onto our Git. Okay, from the GitHub, we will utilize that. So let me just go and test CI/CD. Inside the course section, HTTPS, I will select this link. Okay, this is the end. Now, git clone. It will clone the entire repo into our server. So we can see we have repo this inside our server, and it's the local repo. Okay. Now we can do anything inside this repo. So what we will do, we will make one more repo so that you can understand how to create the repo and all these things, and how to set up the repo onto the local machine as well as onto the GitHub. So for that, I will just remove the .git. It will get untracked. Okay. So it is now untracked. If you run git status, it will not show anything because this is not now a repository. For that, what we will do, we will simply run the git init command. It will do repo initialization. Now the repo is initialized. Now check for the git status. You can see the files are there and these files are now untracked. Okay. Means this is out of the git zone. Whatever local git you have, this is outside the zone. So what we will do, we will track this file and we push to the GitHub. Okay, so for that we need to create the new repo onto the GitHub. So we will post it ahead for how to create that repo. For that, you can just go to this logo into the repo section. You have some option like new repo creation, and you can put the name. So I will put any custom name like Nginx-test. So this is the name. Here you can create the public repo. Okay, here you can select the private. Okay, but as of now, I am keeping this repo as a public. Create the repo. Now repo is created, but there is a no file. So how to actually work with this local repo and GitHub? Okay, how to sync both of them. So for that, what I will do, first of all, you can see here, there is some commands. Okay, I will just rename my local branch with the whatever the branch we will have on our GitHub. For that, I will just go here. Okay. Currently, my branch name was master, but I replaced this with the main. My branch name is now main. Git branch. Okay, so it will not show if there are more than one branch. In this case, it may show you the branches. Okay, and star something like that so that you can understand on which branch you are. Okay. So I rename the branch. Okay, so that I will have the same branch name onto the GitHub. So after that, I will add git remote add this in that. I will explain this also. So for that, first of all, let me paste it. Okay. So git remove. Okay, this is the command. You can add URL. You can set URL. Okay. Git remote add. It is adding URL into your local repo. And this is the remote name origin. Instead of origin, you can select any name. There is no matter what name you can put. You can give any name. There is no mandate that you should mention origin. After that, this is your GitHub account. Okay. After that, this is your account name, and this is the repo. So this is overall procedure that you can add remote. Okay. So now the remote is added. Git remote show origin. Okay. So now you will see where it is telling, please make sure that you have the correct access and right repo or repo exists. So why this is telling? Because this host is not currently able to, what we can say, write into that particular repo, fetch the repo, okay, and fetch the origin information. That access it do not have. So how to enable that? For that, we will use the SSH based communication. So we need to generate the key, SSH keys in it. Okay. It will generate the public key as well as private key. It is telling that you will have your private key in this path. So I am entering because I want the same. Okay. I don't want the passphrase as of now. So I have no public. Okay. In the same section with .pub extension, you will have the public. So I'm just opening that key, selecting the key, just come up with me. I will go into that repo. Inside the setting, you can deploy your keys. Okay. Add deploy key. Here you can put your key. You can do any like I'm doing the Jenkins. Okay. There is no need to have a particular specific name. You can mention anything. And allow write access because we want to push into this repo. Click on the add key. It will ask you the password. Yes, I am just entering the password. So key is now deployed. So let's check again where we were getting the information about the our remote. Okay, now we understand this is the one URL which you use for the fetching, and this is used for the pushing. Means for the both you have the same URL. Okay. Now we need to do some more configuration. Suppose I am on the I am one who is a developer, and he is pushing. What is actually the scenario you have? Uh, the scenario is like this is our GitHub. This is the multiple developers. Okay, they will do work in the coordination. They will push the code continuously to the GitHub. This is the centralized version control system, and this is just a version control system. Okay, whatever Git you have, this is the version control system. So I am the one of the developer. Okay, I am the one of those developer. I will push my code into the GitHub repo. Okay, so this is actually the scenario. We are configuring this into my laptop. Okay, so we added the origin, the information of this repo. After that, what we will do? We will simply try to. Okay, let me check first of all status. Here, the all files are undrive. Okay, so there are three sections into the Git, like three stages we can say. So first of all, whatever we are doing on our local laptop is called working area. Then after that, something called as staging area. Okay, once you put your files inside the staging area, this will come under the zone of your Git. After that, you have area called commit area. Okay, commit area. You can call this as a snapshot area also. Okay, your file will move from here to here and here to here. Okay, so let's check for the changes. Now I'll just come into my server. All these files are currently undrive. I will do simple. I will run simple command git add dot. Dot means all the file inside my current directory. Git status. Now we can see these are in the green color, and these are the track files. Means no, Git can tell you like if some files get modified, it will take you this particular file is now modified. Now what will happen? This is telling that you have to commit. If you commit, it will create the snapshot. As of now, I will check logs. Log item one line. It will show you log in one line. So what it is telling, currently you do not have any commits on the main branch. So let's go ahead and commit. With commit dot h1m dot h1m, and I am just putting simple message. You can add anything. First commit. It is committed. Now check for the git log command. You can see you have first commit here. So now you can again come to the Nginx test repo. Here you can see there is nothing inside the repo. Now we will configure first and then push into the our remote. Now for that we have to do some configuration. Here you can see git config. Okay. So let's try to push directly. What will happen? We will see. Git push -u origin, the name of remote main. Okay, so it is pushing. Okay, because git config -l. Okay, we did not mention anything here, like which user is author, we can say something. So we do not mention. So let's come here. Okay, let's see. Here you can see the files. Whatever file we had into our local machine, all files are get pushed into this repo. But in the commit section, if you go and see, you can see here root. Okay, so this is pushed by the root, not a specific, what you can say specific author, like specific developer. How to set this thing? For that, git config Okay, this is I am setting for this one repo. If you want to set for all the repo on this PC or this computer or this server, then you can use the global. Okay, but I do not want that. I just want to set for this particular repo or particular repo on my server. Email user dot email, I think it's user dot email. You can put into single quote, or if you don't want, you can proceed ahead directly. CoreXtech. Git config, and I'm just putting the name. Git config -L. So you can see here now, you set the new author. If you see the Git log, here you can see author is a root. Okay. Now, if we commit something, it will have author as a Tushar @CoreXtech.in and Tushar as a name. Like here we will get the email ID and this user. What we will do, we have currently this Nginx test repo. What we will do, we will just go on to Jenkins. First of all, we need to configure credential because we have to push the images into our UAT CoreXtech Docker form. Okay, so for that we created the repo, but we need to add the credential here. Okay. I will show you how to do it. So in the credential sections, in the global settings, this I want to, what is the meaning of that? In the credentials, if I want to add the global credential means entire system can use this, means entire Jenkins. Now inside the global, I will click on the add credential, and the credential type is username with password. So I will put the username, just come on this repo, UAT CoreXtech. Selected this username, I'm putting the password. I'm just giving the name to the ID. Given name Docker Hub and creating the credential. Okay, now this credential is created, so we can use this into our pipeline. So let's proceed ahead for creation of the pipeline. I will give similar name like pipeline. I'll just give website. This website I mentioned pipeline. Okay, so we will create the pipeline. Let's go to the pipeline section, and we will put our whatever the pipeline inside the same GitHub repo. So for that, we need to choose pipeline script from SCM, source code manager. In this, we need to select the Git and repo URL. How to get that? So in the Nginx test, inside the code, HTTPS, and this is the URL. Just pick this test here, and it is connecting it because it is a public repo. Okay. And our branch is main. I will show you. Here you can see there is only one branch, which is main branch. This is the main branch, and we have our Jenkins file in the root of this repo. You can see here, this is the Jenkins file. This whatever we are inside this Jenkins file, it will get executed. Okay, when we trigger the build. I am saving this. Now we need the one basic image, base image. So how to do that? So I will tell you how to proceed ahead for creating the base image. So let's check for the images. We do not have any image. Inside this repo, we have something called Docker file base. I will just open up this. Here you have the function. What I told you, if you do not have this index.html file available now, you can commit your means you can create your image. Okay, you can commit your image. You can push to your Docker Hub, so that you will not get affected with the developer. Means if the developer work is pending, you do not need to wait for the his work completion. Okay, so for that on-build function comes into the picture. What it will do, whenever the file will available, this index.html file will available, what it will do, if this file is into the same repo, suppose we will push the file into this repo. Okay, this will get updated. Whatever is the file, it will get updated. Suppose this is 7 minutes. If we push right now, it will show now here. So whatever your new file will be there, it will get used by the image. How to use that by developer or how to automate this. All these things I will explain. So what this simply do, it will utilize index.html file from this current location, whatever the repository I am currently in. So it will use this file and put it into this document. Okay, this is the document root of Nginx. I'm just exiting from this. I will create the image. Docker image build. -t. Okay. You can first of all create image, then tag image. But what I am doing, I am directly tagging the image with the same Docker image build, and just come to the Docker. In the repo section, UAT CoreXtech and Nginx. Okay. Yes. And the tag. I'm just copying this. Control Shift press and just giving any tag. You can do like 1.0 and the file name. Which file I want to use? This Docker file base. I want to create a particular image. Likewise, we can utilize this onto the later steps. And this is into the current location. So this is the custom file need to use, which is in the current directory. Okay, this is the flag used to mention the custom file, and you will create the image with this tag. Okay, so now image building process will happen with this command. So I am building the image. So the image is getting built. So let's see whether we have the image or not. Docker images. It's Docker images. So here you can see we have image like the UAT CoreXtech Nginx 1.0. Okay, so we will push this image to the Docker because we are logging into that account. So we can directly push now. So what is the procedure to push? I will explain you once again. Suppose you have Docker file. First of all, you have Docker file. After the Docker file, you will create the image with the same tag as report. Image with same tag as report. Okay, this is the second requirement. Now after that, what we will do? Docker login is needed. We already log in, that's why there is no need to log in again. After that, what need to do? You have to push. Okay, you have some command here. If you go into that, where is this? Currently I am on the same page. Docker push and that tag. You simply need to enter this. Okay, once you do this, it will get pushed to your Docker. This is the procedure to push into the Docker. Docker push and the image. This is the image I have, and this is the tag. So it is getting pushed. Okay. Request access to this resource is denied. So let me check what is the issue. Docker logout. I'm logging out from the Docker. Remaining the credential is now removed. Docker login. So login is successful. Let me check for the repo whether we are pushing to the same one or different. UAT CoreXtech, Nginx, and we have a 1.2. Docker push. Let me check the same command what we used. CoreXtech, Nginx. I'm just copying that Docker images. This is our image. Now let me copy the same command. Docker push. And that's it. Yes. And 1.4, I mentioned the time. Nginx. Spelling is also correct. And now it is getting pushed to the Docker. Okay. Pushed, all layer are getting pushed. So let me check for what was the issue before. Message push. I think it was log out due to some issue. So now we push our image. Let's check this onto this repo. I just refreshed it. So we can see here we have currently one image pushed into our whatever the repo we created. Now after that we will do all entire remaining process with the Jenkins, which is the automated. So for that I have some pipeline. I will explain you that. So first of all, let me paste all this thing here. Yes, Jenkins, I am on home page in the website section. Where actually putting this file inside this repo. So we are not using this directly inside the whatever the section we have for the mentioning what we can say Jenkins file. We are utilizing this from our GitHub repo. For that, this entire script is there. Now I will explain you all the things one by one. So let me clear you all the things. So first of all, if you want to write the pipeline, I'm just reducing everything. This is the syntax for writing the pipeline. Okay, this is the declarative pipeline. So once you have this, suppose if you want to create the pipeline, you just need to use this syntax. After that, I will just reduce all remaining things. Okay, so here agent is any. In this case, you can mention like suppose if you want to utilize particular agent, so you can do label and inside the quotation you can utilize whatever you have. Inside the Jenkins section, manage Jenkins, and inside the nodes, you can give this name built in. Okay. In our case, we have only one agent. So what is the meaning of any? It will use whatever the available one. That's why I put here any. Okay. So in this case, there is no need to mention particular label. So after that, we will mention some environment variable. Okay. And we will utilize this in the later stages. So Docker Hub user is UAT CoreXtech. So how we decide that? From our this GitHub, Docker Hub. Okay. So here you have UAT CoreXtech as a user. After that, image name. We will replace that. What will be the image name? Image name will be whatever repo you created. Here you can see Nginx. Nginx should be your image name. I'm replacing this with Nginx. Okay. Now Docker Hub. This is the credential. I am defining this Docker Hub as a one value for this credential ID. Okay, this is the variable name and this is variable value. So Docker Hubs. How I understand to mention this Docker Hub. We will utilize this into our later stages. You can see here login in the login section. We will utilize that credential ID. Okay. This is the credential ID. So I will show you how to generate this also. with credential. Now, how I understand how to use these only. So this ID we mention while creating the credentials. The setting inside the credential sections. Yes, system global credentials. Here we mention ID is a Docker hub. Okay. Otherwise, to get more clarity, you see that while creation we mention this here. Same we mentioned in our pipeline, so that it will get utilized into the later stages. Instead of putting this variable name, you can directly put this Docker hub. Okay? No need to extract this from your particular variable. You can enter directly. But as this changes on the later stages, you need to modify the entire pipeline. That's why I mentioned the variable name and variable value. So after some time, your pipeline get changed, your credential change, credential ID will change. So you can simply change this in this section. So we define the environment variable, we define the agent, we understand the pipeline syntax. Now, what we will do, we will minimize this in environment section. So generally, we have stages. So what is the stages? So our execution of the pipeline will happen into multiple stages. If we want to mention or define the stage, we need to have stages. So inside the stages, we have multiple stages. You can see here, this is one stage, this is second stage. Okay, this is third stage, this is fourth stage. So this is 4-stage pipeline. First stage is checkout, second build image, login and push image, and deploy. Okay, this is the optional. You can manually deploy it. Okay. So now I will explain first stage. In the first stage, we will just check out our page. Okay, whatever code we have, we need to pick that into your workspace. What is the workspace? Suppose this is your pipeline. Okay. And when we come onto the backend, into the where Jenkins and inside the workspace is not created. So we will run the pipeline, then we will check. Okay. Inside the Jenkins, there should be something folder called workspace. So inside this workspace, this code will get pulled. So as of now, we will see that after some time when we run this pipeline. So this code will get flown into your workspace. Now, if this stage is over, you check out, then in the next stage, you will build the image. So how you will build the image? You will use your Docker Hub user, then your image name, which is Nginx, and build number. So build number is the variable, global variable, which we can use from the Jenkins itself. Means Jenkins defined this variable for all the pipelines. Okay, so if you run first time, you have first build number as a first. If you run second time, you will have second as a build number, and so on. So we will first build the image, we will tag the image. Okay. Tag the image with Nginx latest. And after that, in the later stages, what we will do, we will log in into the Docker. Okay. After logging, what we will do, we will push the image to the Docker. So this is the process to pushing image. After that, once the images get pushed, we will remove the previous content, whatever is running on our server, and we will create the new content, which is running on port number 8 of the host. Internally, it have port number 8. So this is how the entire process will work. It will utilize the image, whatever the latest image from our Docker Hub. Okay, where we have repo, inside the repo we have image. So this entire process will happen automatically. So what we will do now, we will utilize the same pipeline. So let me check for this on my server. This is my YouTube. Let's say inside that I have file called Jenkins file. Yes, I will image maybe I have to use Nginx. Or else I will simply copy paste this entire so that we can save over time. It's already explained to you. Step shift column percentage so that we can directly type. Okay, gentlemen, let me check all the things. The page, tech page, the latest step, login, push, and utilize the image. Okay. And now you can see there, I modified the file. Likewise, you can consider for the developer also. Status. Its status. It is now under the tracking of your Git. So it is telling this particular file is get modified. So you have to make the snapshot. So for that, once we added it into our staging area, we do not need to add again and again. So git commit and Jenkins file message modified image name. Okay, let me check one more thing. We created the new repo. We created the new repo Jenkins file. Okay. So if we created the new repo, we need to mention that new repo also there. What is the repo name? And Linux test. And Linux test. ng-ix-test. This is the name we have. We can rename this also. So spelling is somewhat not correct. It's correct name. Yes. So commit. It is showing some deletion, some insertion, whatever the new changes are there. Git log icon bundle. Git push. And now new code is getting pushed into the this remote field. Jenkins file. You can see the modified with the Nginx name, Nginx-test, which is the repo. Docker credential, all these things are fine. Let's come on to this UI and build. If you do manual intervention like building and all these things, what we call this is the delivery. If the entire process is automated, this is called deploying. So there is a failure. Let me check what is the issue. Modify image name. Okay, skipping. Docker build. Saving the latest. Not from related CoreXtech test level. It is utilizing some other tool. Let me check once again. Space. Next service. Let me check for the new commit. We did recently the commit. I think this might be the issue. Modified image team, UAT CoreXtech. We modified it correctly. The old one is this, the new one is this. Okay. So there is something issue. Docker file. In the Docker file, we do not change the image. So here, in the UAP CoreXtech, we do not have the repo name with the what we can see here, test weather. So which is not there. So that's why we are getting the issue. So it is Nginx. Nginx 1.8. Let me check for the tag also. 1.8. It's now status. Git commit Docker file. After that, you can simply click the link, modify image name, git push. Let me check now. Into the repo, refresh, latest commit, modified image name, Nginx toast. Inside the Docker file. So let me rerun the pipe. Site pipeline. Let's check now. Whether we face any issue. Console output. Okay, now we get the success. So let's check for the, can we get the landing page of that Nginx in the instance section. Details in this. Okay, so we are getting this page. Okay. That is actually being hosted inside our container. So we can see this in our backend also. Our container is running UAT CoreXtech Nginx with the latest image. You can see here, if we refresh this repo, now we will have one more image. So which is latest. So these images get utilized to run this container. This is running on port number 80 of this course. This is how actually, suppose now if consider that if developer change your index.html file, what I will do? I will index.html, index.html dot bq. I'm just making the backup. You can see it. And change file from there. Okay. Suppose consider that new code is there. Status. If this is the untracked file, because new file is get created even if we move the new file for the git add. Okay, there is no need to add this file. We will simply commit this new changes. Commit index.html -m location added code git push. New code is yet pushed into the repo. We need to observe this here also. The next is our index.html file should be the simple line that you put. And if we run pipeline now in the website section, you run pipeline now. Let's check what will happen. Now the build is in process and it's success. Let's check for the changes. Okay. So now the changes is appear. So this is all about the whatever we have the implementation of CSV.